they had to go 200 meters deep. But indeed, the water is there. It's there. And when we were there last spring, it was like, oh my goodness, look at this site. It's amazing. And all the community was so excited. And you're thinking, what if there's no water when they dig for the borehole? But there are the photos of the water gushing out of the borehole and the kids touching it. And it's just, like I said, it is everything to the communities. It's essential for it all to work, for the program to work. Another question?
What's the timeline for the penny when it's going to be completely? What's the timeline for the penny when it's going to be completely out of circulation? Is there a deadline for when this will end? This campaign?
So we have inquired with financial institutions to obviously do our due diligence on this campaign. To our knowledge, there's no set point at which the penny will expire in use. In essence, the Canadian Mint has ceased making them, and that they're encouraging businesses, of course, to round up to the 5 cent, use a nickel. And so they will remain in circulation until a point at which they are no longer in use. We thought we would speed along that process, give our fair country a helping hand, and collect them all and ensure that processing takes place. Hence the obit, I have to say.
Further to that, anybody caught with pennies after this day will be forced to swallow the remainder.
You gotta read, and so I gotta ask Jacob, where do you keep all your pennies? Because I enjoyed this story.
I've got 2 jars. I've got the transition jar that sits on my counter for the walk-in, empty the change, and then when that guy gets full, it goes into the big grandpa jar that keeps on moving. And it's really interesting to see the way that things add up. And something as insignificant as a penny, we don't expect to have any sort of impact, but all of a sudden that penny turns into a cup, the cup turns into a jar, the jar turns into a bucket, and then someone's digging it out halfway around the world. And people have that instrumental building block to make sure that we are being preventative as opposed to damage control, which is far less cost effective.
And I think we have time for one more question.
You would have known, or you wish someone would have. What is something you wish you would have known, or you wish someone would have told you when you were an adolescent that you would like to tell the youth today, of this generation?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
I think looking out, it's really ironic to see, or to hear a lot of us refer to the people in that building right now as kids, because most of them are far more socially aware than anyone in my generation ever was. So the fact that they are already realizing that potential has been within them the entire time is some advice that I'm sure generations past could have most certainly used to a very effective end. But most definitely just the fact that we do all have that capability within ourselves. And the fact that as many kids these days in this generation are realizing that is so hopeful and gives our civilization almost like a little bit of promise and light at the end of the tunnel in a lot of ways.
We're going down the roll here. I'll just quickly add the message. I wish that you can make a change when you add up to great change. When you come together. We started kids when we were 12 years old. There were 12 of us. We never really believed it would make a difference. We tried our hardest. We were very passionate. But when you take 12-year-olds, grow that to 100,000 youth at WEDAY locations, grow that to the 3,000 schools they represent, grow that to 8 cities across Canada, grow that to 2.4 million followers of WEDAY on Facebook, grow that to the TV broadcast, grow that to all the press. This is truly possible. This is truly possible. That Canada can collect an enormous percentage of its pennies and make this dream happen for 100,000 people. I wish I knew when I was younger the power, the exponential power that you've had when you come together to change the world. And for the closing words, an extraordinary lady.
I don't believe him that he didn't know that already when he was an adolescent. But I like we said, because I think people are most excited to watch you speak on stage. I think it's incredibly empowering, and it's still incredibly moving every time. I think everyone that works at you will say the same. But myself as an adolescent, oh yeah, could have used some advice. I think my heart was in the right place, but I think just to know that there's so many good things around the corner, and that just everything. For me, also, I guess what Jacob said about that you really can make a difference now. You don't realize the power you have when you are a teenager or a child. When you're going, I think I went to go interview the nurses when they were on strike when I was 10, but didn't understand that I could take that to the next level and maybe get the interview in the paper, or maybe talk about, you don't have that. You need so much guidance, and I think just having that gumption to really believe and know that you can get it there. Yeah.
Great question. And I just see one little question over here.
Actually, I'd love to have